Hey everyone, LittleMoeGaming here. Welcome back to another episode of LittleMoeGaming at Lunch. It's funny, I call this show at lunch, but it's very rare that I'm actually at lunch. I'm actually at dinner right now. Well, I just ate dinner. Dinner was pretty good. I picked up some Hawaiian barbecue, a place called L&L Hawaiian Barbecue. They have a couple of different locations here in Colorado. Heard a lot of good things about it. I'm a big fan of Hawaiian barbecue and like that kind of food. So, big recommendation. If you have one where you are, definitely recommend checking it out. But yeah, let's talk about some video games. So I'm gonna get right into it this week and talk about. Today was the excuse me, Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. It was pretty cool, very short, and I wouldn't say it's anything too crazy, but it's basically just, third-party partners with Nintendo and what kind of games they have coming to Nintendo Switch. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that a lot of these games are going to be exclusive to Nintendo Switch. That being said, it's coming to Nintendo Switch 1, or both Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, or just Nintendo Switch 2. It's kind of interesting. They made that they highlighted that in the beginning of the Direct, that if you see the Nintendo Switch logo alone, that means it's not coming to Nintendo Switch 2, and so on. And they kind of broke it down that way, which I think is pretty cool because it shows that there's still plenty of support for the original Nintendo Switch, which is great. I personally feel that a lot of the Nintendo Switch 2 games probably might be better on the Nintendo Switch 2. But I don't plan on getting a Nintendo Switch 2 anytime soon. I think I've made the decision that I'm going to wait for a while, maybe even until they inevitably release like a Nintendo Switch 2 OLED model, because they did that with the first Nintendo Switch. I don't see why they wouldn't do that with the 2, considering that it launched without an OLED screen. I think they definitely have that planned for release maybe sometime in the next couple years. But yeah, I don't know. Am I going to hold up to that, or am I going to end up, folding and buying it earlier? We'll see. But a lot of cool games were shown. We're getting a new Monster Hunter Stories game. I never really played Monster Hunter. I've dabbled with it. I played demos. I played a demo of Monster Hunter back in the day on DS, I think. I don't even remember like how I got the demo, but I remember playing a demo. I think it was for Monster Hunter Generations. And I played the demo for Monster Hunter Wilds. This, of course, looks completely different. It's more story-driven. I mean, they're all story-driven, but this one really focuses on the story. And you can tell it's like more of a handheld experience than Monster Hunter Wilds or World was. But it looks cool. They showed a lot of different things. Katamari is getting a new game. I never played the original, but I've always heard good things about it, and that just looks like a fun, really like gamey game, where you're just straight up, gaming, like just pure silliness and nonsense, and it looks awesome. I actually do have Katamari Reroll on Switch. I haven't played that yet. I think I picked it up at GameStop for like $10 one time. Maybe I'll try that soon, see what that's all about, get some footage recorded. By the way, on this video, I'm going to be showing footage of Death Stranding. I'm also going to be showing footage of Stellar Blade. I just started Stellar Blade yesterday. Really great game. The graphics are incredible and the gameplay's fun. We'll see how it ends up going with the story. But yeah, that's fun, and I'll be showing some of that. I don't know if I have any other footage to put on here. Probably just focus on those 2 games. But that being said, they also showed a lot of interesting things that I didn't expect to come to Nintendo Switch, like Yakuza 2 or Kiwami 1 and 2 are both coming to Switch and Switch 2. Those are great games. I really love Nintendo. I'm sorry, I love Yakuza Kiwami 2. I have a lot of memories with that game. I played it a long time ago now, and I remember, really getting deep into the side quests where you do like it was like kind of a tower defense mode, where you just like spawn. It's like the strategy game that they included. I remember that being like a really fun thing, and I spent many hours in that before I actually finished the game. A lot of memories. Played that on PS4 actually. So it's cool that that's coming to Switch. I think it's cool to know that Yakuza as a series is coming to Switch. I don't know if they all will, but maybe with the Switch 2, they'll start porting in more and more. We'll see. It's definitely a good game to play handheld, but I will probably always play it on PlayStation myself. But what I really want to talk about is what they showed more so towards the end of the Direct. They showed Octopath Traveler 0, which looks cool. I'm playing Octopath Traveler right now, and I absolutely love it. Taking it really slow, but it's such an amazing game. The soundtrack, the world, the art, and the way it looks is just awesome. And the gameplay is fun. The little stories are great, and it's just a great time. Kind of a cozy, JRPG. And I've only heard good things about the sequel, and this looks great too. So that was exciting. But what excited me a little more was another game they showed before Octopath Traveler. They showed something, I don't remember the exact name. It was like The Adventure of Elliot, or something like that. I'll write down the actual title here. I'm just too lazy to look it up right now. This is just a laid back little recording. I just ate dinner and I wanted to talk about video games for a bit. But yeah, The Adventures of Elliot looked really cool. At first, I thought it was, and I still think it is, I thought it was like a spin-off of Octopath Traveler, because it has more of a live action gameplay. Like, it's not turn-based combat. It's kind of like, like an action game where you actually swing your sword, use your magic and abilities and all that. And it looked really fun. I mean, there's a lot of different weapon types in the game, and it looks like it's going to have a really cool story, but it's in the same art style as Octopath Traveler. Everything looks the same. I think it might be the same developers. I don't know for sure. It's definitely coming from Square Enix, though, so quite possibly. I mean, literally, like, the sprite work, the way the game looks, it just looked like Octopath Traveler. So I think it's pretty cool that they're taking that unique style and implementing it in a different way. And it looked really cool. But, I mean, was this Direct enough to really make me want to get a Nintendo Switch 2 right now? I don't know. I mean, there's definitely some games they showed that are going to be exclusive to Switch 2 that looked great, like this Adventure of Elliot game. They didn't indicate that it was coming to any other console. And that's another thing too, is I think a lot of these are exclusive to Switch, like I was saying. Which, of course, if you have a game like this, definitely. I mean, Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza, those two games alone, make me want to get a Nintendo Switch. But I'm still kind of like, well, I'm not going to get it right now. I'll probably wait on it. But I would get a Nintendo Switch 2 just for those games alone. I mean, everything I've heard about Donkey Kong Bonanza since it came out, and Mario Kart, I love Mario Kart 8, and I've always been a fan of Mario Kart, so I would definitely want to play the new version, and I'm sure there's going to be other great games coming to Switch during its lifetime. So it's definitely a console I'll get. I just don't know if it's something that I would want to get now, or if I would want to wait, like I said, maybe get the OLED model when that comes out inevitably in the next couple of years. I mean, I got the original Nintendo Switch. I never got the OLED model or the Switch Lite. I stuck with my original Nintendo Switch, and I even fixed the battery. At one point, the battery was dying way too quick and it needed a replacement, I replaced it. It wasn't even that expensive. I think it was like $50. Got a new battery in there and it works just like new. And I have such a library of games for the Switch, just so many games on there that I haven't played, that maybe it's better that I pick like 10 games out of my Switch library and focus on playing those before I even think about getting a Switch 2. But yeah, and then of course, with everything I have on PlayStation, I have plenty of games, and the hardware I have is great. I don't think it's, necessary for me to go out and get a Switch 2 right now. But it's definitely cool to see that we're getting a lot of cool games. Even Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment looks awesome. I didn't really play the original Hyrule Warriors or Age of Calamity, but, I've heard good things about them, and I think Age of Imprisonment just looks really cool. It looks like they're taking a more unique spin on it in terms of the story and narrative part. So that's definitely something to look forward to. I think there's a lot of cool games on there, and it'll be cool to be like a late adopter of the console. I really do think so. But yeah, that being said, Nintendo Switch Direct happened and they showed some cool games. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm actually going to have an episode dedicated to this topic, but I wanted to talk about exclusivity in video games, and I'm going to make an episode specifically about this, but just to kind of touch on it a little bit, I think it's really cool that Nintendo somehow is able to make all these exclusive games that you can only play on their console. I think that's great, especially with the Nintendo IPs that they have. Everything Mario, Donkey Kong, Metroid, Star Fox, a lot of IPs that haven't been used in a while. Like, come on, let's, is it possible that we might get like a new Earthbound game? I never even played the original, but I've played Smash Brothers enough to know how much of a staple the Mother series or Earthbound is to Nintendo. I think it'd be really cool if we got like a modern take on that. And there are definitely like modern RPGs that are like Earthbound. But the point is, I think it's really cool that Nintendo is able to have such a lock on the exclusivity of certain games, even from third-party publishers. Like I said, I think Monster Hunter Stories is going to be exclusive to Nintendo Switch. I don't think it's going to come to other consoles. And same thing with, Octopath Traveler might come to other consoles, because I think the first and second one are on PlayStation, if I'm not mistaken. But this Elliot game, right? I mean, based on the trailer that we saw, it's exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. I don't think it's going to come to other consoles. It's definitely possible. And it'd be great if it did. I mean, it's always good to have options, right? But I do think there's some value in exclusivity. And in a world where it seems like exclusivity is slowly slipping away, I think it's really neat that Nintendo is able to keep that. And like I said, I'm going to make an episode where I dig a little deeper into that and my thoughts on that. But I just wanted to sit back for a few minutes here, talk about the Direct that we saw today, show you some Death Stranding gameplay as well as some Stellar Blade, and just, talk about video games. So, as always, if you enjoyed this content, leave a like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and let me know down below, what did you feel about the Nintendo Direct? What do you feel about the games that are coming, or what's a dream game for you to come onto the Nintendo Switch? Anyways, so LittleMoeGaming, and as always, take care.